some of our webinars. And for today's topic or skill focus, we're going to be looking at writing and common mistakes. And by the end of this webinar, you should be able to obtain the following key points. The first one is to understand some of the key grammar points. Another one is how to use linking expressions in your writing in an accurate way. We will move on to some examples from how to apply this in task 2 writing. And in general, today's focus will be to look at mistakes, inaccuracies in grammar, and also another point is coherence and cohesion, or the linking words, how to use them. And before we get started, everyone, because this is a big group or a big audience today, so I unfortunately cannot invite everyone to speak, and we will mainly be using the chat box to answer questions. So let me just check, guys. Can everybody hear me clearly? Okay, excellent. And can you see the screen? Okay, brilliant, brilliant. So that's good. Thank you guys for letting me know. And so, yeah, it's important for today's webinar that you participate when listening. Try to follow along actively. Write down your notes, your answers in the chat box. And at the end of today's webinar, I will answer some questions. So if you want to write down your question, and we will answer them at the end. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the key points about something called, you can see it at the top, articles. So articles are the, a, or an, or no word at all. So you need to show the correct article. So which one of these sentences is correct? A or B? Okay, so it looks like everyone is saying B. Let's have a look. So yeah, first one is incorrect. The second one, the reason it's correct is the word the. Yeah, that's the article. And I'll explain why this is the case. So most of the time when you want to explain or when you have an adjective and an adverb like most and serious, then you put the word the before it. Okay, next one. This is a growing problem in the United States. For example, should there be an article in this sentence? Okay, so sentence A is the correct one. And there are actually some countries where you will use the word the beforehand, and they often are groups of states or islands, for example, the United Kingdom or the Middle East. And other countries, you will use the zero article, so no article at all. For example, this is a growing problem in France. Let's have a look at the next sentence. A or B, guys? Yeah, that's correct. And usually we use uh, the word the definite article, when we want to explain a specific quantity. For example, the number of. We also use that for ordinal numbers like the first and the second. Next, we have to reverse this trend. We need to give a good advice or good advice. So we have a mix this time. Many students are saying A, some students are saying B. The answer is actually B. And this is a very common mistake by students. And let's explain why is that the case? Well, here we read it says uncountable, not specific. Advice is uncountable. What does that mean? Well, it means that the word cannot be counted. For example, when you think of an idea, it is not easy to count it. Advice. I need to think of a word to counter, and the word used for advice would be peace. So I need to give you a good piece of advice. Then you can use the article. So a piece of advice is mentioned here as countable. So you have to make the word countable if it is uncountable. Or you can just say we need to give advice or good advice. Finally, we have the last option. In my opinion, governments should also regulate unhealthy food. What's the problem here? The word government needs the before it. And do you see the examples there? It talks about the police, the environment, the internet, and the moon. So all of these words, guys, they are called collective nouns. So if you want to review that point, you can look up the word collective nouns. And collective nouns, they refer to a group of people, so more than one person. Whenever you have a group or a collective noun, you need to use the article at the end. Okay, so I hope that's clear. Let's move on to the next point. And another common grammatical point is singular and plural nouns. And guys, don't get too disappointed with this. Actually, I did it. I did do a listening IELTS listening test this morning, and I also made this mistake. So it can be very easy to miss sometimes. So make sure to practice, even if you think that you know the rule. Try to review it regularly. And the first example here we have is there are many transport options in my city. So guys, in this case, I'll ask you to write down the plural word. Okay, that's true. And how about number two? The number of men studying engineering has decreased. Okay, so yeah, you guys can see it very easy, right? We turn option and man into options and men. Okay, so how about the next option? Let me make it a little bit more challenging this time. Some nouns have different plural forms. So the sentence reads, childs in today's society face a lot of pressure at school. And the answer should be children in the first word. Okay, can you guys do the second one? All right, number two, we need to change peoples to people because the plural doesn't change for this word. And also another point for plurals is that some nouns don't even have a plural form themselves. And can you spot the word here? That's right, that's money. Also, we have, did you guys see it? There's a second one. Yeah, Mary saw it, furnitures. So more money is spent on furniture and household items. So if you want to make furniture a plural noun, we need to make a countable noun. So for example, instead of advices, we say piece of advice. Or what can we say for furniture? How can we count it? Yeah, pieces of furniture can work. Any other ideas? Items, yeah, items is the very natural one to use in that case. All right, how about the next one? Okay, this one is information, and maybe we would say something like often the type of information or the amount of information available is not high quality. All right, and some nouns look plural, but they are not. Can you notice the word in this sentence? Okay, some of you guys saying news. All right, let's have a look. And that one is actually the number. So how can we change the number? We need a better word in this case, more natural. A bunch is a bit informal. Yeah, that's right, Lamar. So amount would go in this case. How about option number two? Economics are an increasingly popular choice of subject. So Huang says we're going to change R to is. Yeah, this has an S on the end, so it looks like a plural, but actually it refers to one field or one subject. Lastly, we have subject-verb agreement. Here is an example. A lot of food are thrown away every day. And a lot of food is thrown away every day. That's right. This food, it is an uncountable noun. We often put the word is after an uncountable noun. Next one, local businesses has to reduce their prices. Of course, guys, always remember to match the verb with the noun. And in this case, we will use has, we will use have. All right, so yeah, maybe it looks on the easier side when you see it already on the sentence on the board. But when you are writing task two essays, I often see these are the types of errors that come up. So maybe, guys, if you are writing a task two essay and you get it corrected online or with a tutor, make sure to ask about checking for single or plural errors or endings. Okay, and we also have not just grammar, but we also have linking expressions that we need to demonstrate on the IELTS exam. And we have a list here of very common or useful words to include in your writing. Those words include also, although, as, despite the fact that, first of all, finally, in conclusion, such as, and which. And if you guys take a closer look here, these words look very similar, but they're quite different. In despite, we're going to use this word before a verb, and the verb is going to have ing ending on the end of it. Sorry, guys, for my rubbish handwriting. And for despite the fact that, we would usually use a noun after this phrase. Okay. So that's the main difference between those two words. And although it's kind of similar with despite, but probably you will use the same grammar as these despite the fact that. Okay. Um, any despite is you will use it with a verb. So despite verb uh, and ing. So despite eating a lot of food for lunch, I'm still hungry. Okay, let's apply this to some academic writing. And we have the sentences on the board and see if you can fill in the blanks. So it says, fossil fuels are cost effective. Studies have shown they cause harmful pollution. break also having some drawbacks. There are clear advantages to renewable energy systems, solar power. So what do you guys think for number one? Yeah, or you can do it like Ridial has done it. 3 words in the chat box for me. It looks like most people are using either although or despite for number one. How about number 2 and 3? Okay, Mary says although, despite, and such as. That looks like a popular answer. And Jana also has that, but such as at the end. Okay, let's have a look. And yeah, it seems that you can use those 2 words. Um, and notice the difference in this first sentence. Fossil fuels is a noun. And despite also having, we use the verb ing here. On the final one, we have an example. All right. So next paragraph, we have this time we have 5 words. See if you can fill it out. I'll just give you guys about 30 seconds to read through the paragraph first. Yeah, and then guys, when you're finished, maybe you can put your answer in the chat box like this. I'll just give me number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in one go. Okay, Winlong says, first of all, as, also, as, finally, or in conclusion. Probably we won't use in conclusion in the body paragraph, usually. We'll try to save that until the end. So maybe finally is a better option there. And it looks like they are listing multiple ideas, a further advantage. A lot of you guys are saying firstly and first of all. And which, okay. Sounds like you guys are on the right track. Let's have a look. So yes, the first one is first of all, and which. So first of all, they are low carbon, and which results in less pollution. So we're talking about advantages here. Also, they do not run out. That's the second idea, a benefit of low carbon energy, as or because the energy comes from the sun. Yeah, this word is the same as saying because, or you can say since. And a further advantage of solar energy is that it's predictable. Finally, it is freely available throughout the world. Okay, those are the advantages. And here we have a conclusion. So in the real essay, you probably have another paragraph, and then you have the conclusion. And so I gave you one of the answers. See if you can fill in the blanks there. And this time there are 3 answers, so you can put all of the answers together. Rune says, in conclusion, despite the fact that, maybe you can add the third answer there too. 1, 2. Oh, okay, I see. Sorry, my mistake. There's only two, despite, and then the fact that. So this is a long answer. I get it now. All right. Yeah, guys, if you have other questions outside of the presentation, you can write them in the Q&A box. I will answer them at the end. Alternatively, you could write them down on your notepad and we can discuss it later, yeah? So we'll just focus on the presentation for now. All right, the answers to these are correct. You guys are on the right track here, and notice how we have the words despite the fact and it can be expensive. So actually we have a pronoun here and we have it can be expensive. So uh, we have the object of the sentence coming after the word despite the fact that, but just maybe you can remember ing plus verb after despite. Okay, guys, so we'll just get rid of some of these scribbles. And now we're going to look at a task two question here, which is some people say that universities should not teach art subjects. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So a classic opinion essay. And some students, I noticed, confuse the verbs to introduce arguments and opinions. And there are many ways that you can do this. I mean, you guys probably have learned some of them. I'm going to give you six, and four of them are correct, two of them are incorrect. So see if you can notice which one is correct, which one is incorrect. And you can write two numbers in the chat box. Which ones do you think are incorrect? And we have, it is widely believed that. You will follow this by this phrase, universities should not teach art subjects. The topic, some people say that. We just paraphrase with, it is widely believed that. And you can use this in all kind of opinion essays. All right, there are some other examples there. And many of you are spotting number two as incorrect. Number five, number six are popular answers. Some are saying number one and number four. Okay, so most of the options, but I do see a lot of you guys picking up number two. So number two is incorrect. It is sometimes suggested that this is not completely wrong. This grammar is not wrong. But why is it incorrect in this essay? This essay is a strong opinion debate. Like in the essay, we need to be stronger because we are talking about two different opinions, and they're quite strong opinions. Like universities should do this or should not do this. So suggested is a bit weak of a wording to use in this essay. You can use it for some other essays that is not about opinions. And the other incorrect option, let's have a look. I think it's number six. It is commonly discussed that. Again, this is not a discussion. It's a little bit of a soft word. We want a stronger word like argument or debate or something like that. Yeah. A bit a bit heavier. Okay, actually I'm wrong, guys. Number two is okay. Number four, they are saying. It is often considered that. Although I think the best options are number three and number one for academic writing, if I suggest to you. Number five is a little bit basic, right? Um, the question says some people say, and you just said say as your verb. So try to change that. Okay. And guys, otherwise in the introduction, We can use verbs like consider, discuss. Yeah, those were options given. Argue, uh, believe, claim, debate. Debate is a good one as well. Use these verbs cleverly to argue one opinion and the other. So in this case, can you fill the sentence with a verb? This essay will consider, discuss, analyze. Okay, I think it needs to be a word. Discuss, consider, compare. Compare is a good one. Argue or debate. What did they write here? Okay, consider. So we're going to think about the ideas before we give an opinion. In this essay, I will that universities should only teach practical subjects like science and technology. Okay, I will argue. It's true, you agree um, that you agree with the topic, so that would work as well. In this essay, I will agree. But before you say I will agree, I will explain why I agree that universities da 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 da. Okay. Number three, prove. Prove is okay as well. I like it because it's quite strong. Demonstrate is another one. First, I will outline, display, suggest, present. Okay, so the first part of this sentence, you will present it, you will show it. So some kind of word like present, outline, demonstrate, uh, so, examine, okay, discuss, good. In the second part, it's a bit more like you are answering before providing, before elaborating. Elaborating is a good one. I saw somebody mention that. Before offering the solutions. Okay, so you guys can ask ChatGPT or something, uh, or you can, let me write this on the board. You guys can get some books online, something like common collocations for IELTS or IELTS writing. You can see some common collocations. It's a bit of a mouthful, so typical. Or you can get some books or websites on this. Start to learn the groups of words that go together. Provide and solution is a very, whenever you see solution, you often see the word provide or what else? Offer. Yeah, so you guys can look this up or you can ask AI to give you lists of collocations. And again, that will be ing. Okay, next sentence. I strongly with this point of view because artistic subjects can help people develop essential critical thinking skills. And remember, we have an opinion essay. So agree or disagree, argue in favor of this point of view or disagree with. Okay, what about the last option? In this essay, we'll blank both points of view before. Remember the second word, ing. I will examine both points of view before presenting, arguing. Okay, excellent, guys. Exploring. And this is a very strong sentence. So why is this a strong sentence? Can anybody tell me? This one, also this one. This is like a band 7 plus sentence. This one is okay, it's maybe 6.5. Why is this type of sentence so special? Any ideas? Good. A range of these in your answer. I would aim for at least one complex sentence in each paragraph. And a complex sentence usually has a comma in it and a word after, before, although, but, so, and something like that to make the sentence longer. And if you control the grammar carefully, you will get lots of points for that. So think about learning complex sentences. Right, let's look at one more point, which is other mistakes that students make. Here we have the question, some people think that success in life comes from hard work and determination, while others think that there are more important factors such as money and appearance. Here we have a give your opinion style essay, but notice the point is that we need to talk about both sides of the discussion. And yeah, so there's a mistake in the first sentence. Recently, controversy arises over success in life, an issue never failing to catch public attention. And I think that the problem with this sentence is that it doesn't really relate to anything in the first sentence. The first sentence is talking about hard work and determination, and there's nothing about controversy. So this is a hard, advanced vocabulary, but it doesn't really relate to what we are talking about here. We are talking about um, does success come from hard work or not? Or are there more important things like money and appearance, which show success? But that should be included, those words should be included at the start somewhere about success. And recently, it has been shown that success often is derived from hard work and determination. This sentence should relate to this part, and you just need to change the vocabulary. Anyway, they continue, and instead, this person continues by saying, among divergent opinions, some people are strong proponents of the claim that. Can you notice my mouth when I say this sentence? Some people were strong proponents of the claim that, and it's a little bit of a mouthful. It's a bit difficult for me to say. So maybe you simplify it. It is widely believed that. You can just use this phrase on most essays to do with opinions. It is widely believed that success comes from hard work and determination. Oh, and there's a problem here. This part, success comes from hard work and determination. We need to paraphrase it. We need to change the words. So can you guys think of other words for hard work or determination? Mel says, is it okay to repeat words many times? I mean, sometimes it's okay, but you need to paraphrase. This is a skill that the examiner will be seeing. When I give words in the question, does the student change them? If they change them, that means their vocabulary is big or wide. Okay, perseverance, dedication, resilience, persistence. I love it. These are all great choices. So, commitment. Yeah, you could just change those words to your idea. related to determination. What determination means, you will do anything. You will stay committed and you will make sure that you do it. However, others are convinced that money and appearance, again, no paraphrasing. How can we change money and appearance? Income. Income is good. Wealth. Physical looks, I think is okay. Status. Yeah, it's a bit different to the question, but it's also true. The second one's a little bit more difficult. Appearance. Beauty. Someone said physical looks, I think is good. All right, what do they say here? They say physical beauty. All right, nice job. Physical looks or physical beauty. I partly agree that successment depends on working hardly. These words are a bit awkward. These words are a bit awkward. Successment is wrong, so I have to change it. Yes, success. And hardly. Hardly means not really, not much. But actually, we mean hard or difficult. So we need to change working hard, but change the word hard. Can you think of something better? Or maybe there's no option, right? Working hard. Maybe that's the way. Do they say that in the sentence in the question? They say hard work, and then you say working hard. So this is also good. You change the form of the word. The one becomes work is a noun. It becomes working, which is a verb. So changing the form of the word. So guys, what we've looked at today are 5 key strategies that you can focus on to improve your writing. And I'm just going to leave them on the board. So if you guys want to take a screenshot or just write some notes, you can do that now. And I will just talk in the background here. But essentially, there are 5 key points. That is to focus on improving your grammar. This is a language test. You want to show that you have good knowledge of articles, singular and plural, countable and nouns. Why these points are some of the most important ones? Because band 6 students will often make mistakes here. Band 7 and above students will often get these ones correct. So if you know these grammar points, it's going to be helpful for your writing. Focus on linking expressions, recognize the words that you can use, linking words. Learn some of them, try to actively apply them. And in your introduction, have some phrases that you use every time. So you can, you don't need to think about it. In an opinion essay, you will say, it is often believed, it is often claimed, argued. It's automatic. You don't need to think about it. Avoid other common mistakes, like not paraphrasing is a big one. Make sure to change the words in the question. And at the end, you can spend 2 or 3 minutes. You can read your essay very quickly and check for spelling mistakes and grammar. Okay, guys, so those are the key strategies from today's webinar. And if you would like access to this webinar, come back to the website where you access the link tomorrow. More than 24 hours later, then you can access it. Go through a couple of questions now. And those questions could be anything related to what we have talked about today, difficulties that you face in the IELTS, or generally just questions you have about the exam. And I'm going to start with the Q&A box, yeah? If you've written your question in the chat box, that's okay. I'm going to come back to it in a moment. Let's just have a look at what some people have said here. What to use? I'm going to choose a question. Okay, so Anjana says, can I use the phrase a civilized society? In this essay, I will consider both points of view before arguing that study of the arts is vital to the development of civilized society. So, Anjana, I think it's okay, but the word civilized, maybe you can use the word advanced, or you could just use the word society, of any society. Make sure to put an article there or some description of a society, of any society, or of a modern society, I would say. Okay. And Abdelatif says, I want to ask rhetorical questions. Should I put them in the beginning, middle, or end? And he also asked about idioms. Okay, Abdelatif, don't use rhetorical questions in English writing. I have heard many professors say that it's not a strong form of writing for academic writing. This is usually used for marketing or for other types of writing, like presentations, where you want to hook the listener, but they are often used in speaking, actually, and blog posts. But for academic writing, I wouldn't use rhetorical questions. If you want to try this grammar point, you can use a rhetorical question on the speaking test. I suggest you. And idioms, I'm confused about idioms. You don't need to use idioms on IELTS. I will tell you why. Me personally, I am from Australia, but I left Australia when I was 10 years old to live in Europe. And actually, I don't know idioms very well because I was in a school with people from different countries. So I couldn't tell you much about idioms, but I think I would score well on the IELTS writing. And so you don't really need to use it. Uh, Actually, I think you could just try to use academic writing phrases. So that will be my suggestion for you there. And how to get band 7 in IELTS. It depends what you're talking about, writing or speaking, or let's talk about writing. Band 7 in writing, look at the IELTS writing rubric to know what is the scoring. So they will look at grammatical accuracy and range, vocabulary, coherence and cohesion, and task response. So those four things, make sure you know what they are. And again, you can even ask uh, AI tools, tell me, explain it in simple forms. What are these four criteria? If you understand them, you can learn how to demonstrate them. But if you don't understand them, it might be difficult. When I'm asked to argue 2 points and give my opinion, should I write 3 body paragraphs or two? Ghazi, usually 2 body paragraphs are enough. Um, Depends on your writing. Make sure your essay is between 250 and 300 words. But body paragraphs, no more than 3. And I think 2 is okay as well. All right, we have some questions about the paper exam, the computer exam. Guys, whatever is available in your country and which one you think it is better for you, take the one that is easier for you. They're both the same level of difficulty. I have my speaking test tomorrow. Any tips? Lamar says. Also, about the fill in the blanks questions. I get them wrong because I add articles, synonyms. How do you think I should solve this problem? Lamar, I think you can do some grammar review before tomorrow for like 30 minutes or 1 hour, but I don't think you will change the result too much. So maybe just relax, take your test, be confident in your current abilities, and I'm sure you will do very well. And if you need to take the exam again, usually I recommend students to study for 3 months to understand IELTS. And usually many students, they need to practice their grammatical accuracy a little bit and maybe grammatical range. Try to use more complex sentence. Yeah. Is there a different format of essays? Yeah, you have the opinion essay, the objective essay, the problem and solution essay. So there are about 5 or 6 different essays for task 2. You guys can look that up online. What are the IELTS task 2 question types? And let's see. Will our writing be checked by a person or AI tool? That's a really interesting question, Mohammed. Um, so the latest knowledge that I know is that the speaking test and the writing test are still graded by humans. For speaking tests, you will speak to a human and then they will record your answer and check it later. For the writing exam, they will send your writing exam to a person to grade it, and then sometimes they usually will give it to 2 people just to check it. It depends on the country. But task 1 and task 2 will be graded by 2 different people. So your examiner for task 2 will not see your task 1 answer so that it doesn't affect how they think about your writing. All right, guys, let me look at the chat box, a couple of questions, see if I can find anything here. Um, uh, Layla says, can I write in this essay? We will discuss both views and explain why I agree with. Some people said that this is bad to write like that. Yeah, you will get different viewpoints, different examiners, different teachers saying, should the opinion be in the introduction? Most of the time, people are saying it is okay. In English writing, I I usually say it is totally okay to write it in the opinion. Maybe you don't give everything away. You don't give your entire answer, and you give most of it in the conclusion. But I think it's still okay in the introduction. In other languages, I heard that you don't, somebody doesn't write like this. For example, I don't know which language, but I think it was a Russian student that told me we don't give our opinion in the paragraph introduction. So English writing is a little bit different. I think it's okay to do that. So may just need some practice. Thanks for this free and yeah, no problem, Juan. Hassan, what shall we focus on in writing to achieve band 7.5? Probably the range of your sentences. Make sure that you are using like 30% or more complex sentences when you write. Then it will become clear that your grammar is stronger. Don't make silly errors in spelling. I mean, a few errors is okay, but if you have errors in every sentence, then it will be difficult to get a 7.5. Yeah, and your idea needs to respond directly to the question. A lot of students, they they write the answer too generally, and he doesn't directly answer the question. So, Hassan, you might spend some time at home looking at IELTS questions and trying to come up with more specific or direct ideas to the question. And let's see here. Yeah, Christabel says, which form of the IELTS exam is easier, paper or computer? But there is no easier. It depends on you. Are phrasal verbs acceptable to use in writing task one and task two? Lucia, if you are taking the general IELTS exam, then you will want to use phrasal verbs in task one. Usually we don't use them in task two too much, as far as I know. So it depends on which exam you're taking. Academic IELTS, task one, you wouldn't usually use phrasal verbs too much. How to avoid getting distracted with unnecessary points when doing the writing test? That's an interesting one. Yeah, you need your idea to be direct to the question, and your explanation needs to be concise. So maybe give yourself a target. Today, I'm going to write a body paragraph, number one, for this question, and I'm only going to write 4 sentences or 4, 5, or 6 sentences. And once you get to, like, say, 5 sentences, just stop and see if you can make your argument shorter or what sentence you need to change. So give yourself limitations on how much you write. For me, when I write, I usually say 80 to 100 words for body paragraphs. If my body paragraph is 100 words, more than 100 words, I will not share it with the student because I say to myself, it's not realistic in the exam and it's not good writing, actually. So I need to change this. All right, guys. I do have another student coming up, so I'll have to jump off the call now. And thank you, everybody, for your attention today and for joining the webinar. I hope that has been a little bit useful to you. And it sounds like you guys are asking the right questions on the right track. If you need more support before your IELTS exam, come back to our website. We are always hosting webinars on various skills and topics. And if you need extra guidance, you can look up our one-on-one courses, which are in the QR code or even presented on the website. And that's bye for now. Take care, everybody, and perhaps I will see you